The Chicago Bears will more than likely be taking USC quarterback Caleb Williams with the first overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Now, if you've been following this channel for a while or have seen some of my previous videos on this subject, it's no secret of who I wanted the Bears to stick with at the quarterback position. But as we all know, that's not what happened. At some point, I have to update the profile picture of this account because having a dude who's no longer on the team as the face of my channel is a little awkward to say the least. But we're not here to talk about the Justin Fields trade. I know I'm late to that discussion, but that will be addressed in the next upload on this channel. Today, we will be talking about Caleb Williams, a little bit of who I think the Bears will draft with the little college ball knowledge I do have, as well as how I expect him to perform going into the 2024 NFL season. This might be a bit of a yap session as I get back into the script writing process, so bear with me, haha, if it comes off as droning on and on and on. As always though, if you do enjoy this video and you do want to see more videos like this, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new and you have not done so already. And with that said, let's get right into it. In a minute, boy! You know, it's been a little surreal for me as a sports fan recently. For those who don't already know, I'm a diehard New York Knicks fan, and they've been on the run of a lifetime this year. On top of that, though, you have the Chicago Bears and all the positive talk and hype around them going into the draft, as well as next season. I've never had this amount of hype or adulation surrounding both of my teams at the same time, so it's a very cool and refreshing feeling. Let's talk about the man of the hour, Mr. Caleb Williams. Like I said in the intro, I was very on board with the idea of Justin Fields staying with the Bears and Chicago trading the pick, but I was never against getting Caleb either. You can go on my socials or any of my previous videos, and I've never once unironically talked bad about Caleb. I've even gone out of my way to defend Caleb on multiple occasions when people criticized him for crying after a loss or for him painting his nails. The only sort of negative feedback I've ever even remotely had towards Caleb Williams were directly towards the people who seem to have an undeniable sexual attraction to him throughout the entire 2023 season. As a player, I think Caleb has a lot of the same flaws on paper that Justin Fields did in terms of ball security, but I'm more than willing to chalk that up to USC being one of the weakest overall rosters in college football, and him having to do just about any and everything to try to win games. And I highly doubt that he will have those same struggles with the Bears roster, being just about the best roster any rookie quarterback can possibly ask for. Since the 2024 season has concluded, I have gone out of my way to watch more footage of Caleb, and it could have been and probably was my previous bias clouding my ability to properly evaluate him, but I do believe he's an exceptional prospect. I've watched him make plays and complete throws that I've only seen a handful of players complete. In terms of who's in the NFL currently doing that, the three people that I've seen are as follows: Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and former quarterback Justin Fields.
Please do not fucking murder me.
I know the old head Bears fans who were in high school when the Bears last won a Super Bowl are worried about him painting his nails or having a pink phone case or dancing or whatever the fuck. But there's no way people actually think that affects how he's going to play football, right?
Right?
Well, whatever people think, we'll just have to see how he does in the league. Even if he does flop, I guarantee as sure as shit won't be because of fingernail polish. That's the typical homophobic ideologies of an old head from Chicago. Personally, I don't care if he makes a video sucking dick and posts it to his Twitter account as long as he's holding a Lombardi while he does it. I'm super excited for this because the Bears have never had this level of hype for drafting a player, even if they were drafted higher in the past. He's a rookie after all. Of course he's going to struggle, it's only natural. As long as he doesn't have a Zach Wilson trajectory going into the season, I have absolutely no concern for him with the roster that they're putting around him. I'm not sure what else to say about Caleb at this stage, so we're going to have to move on to the next segment. But before we do, I just wanted to take a second to point and laugh at the fucking Denver Broncos for acquiring Zach Wilson to most likely be their starter.
Sit and spin.
Johnny, it's the wrong hole.
In the 2024 draft, Chicago currently holds the 1st and 9th picks in the 1st round, the 75th pick in the 3rd round, and the 122nd pick in the 5th round. The first pick is more than likely going to be used on Caleb Williams, obviously, but what will happen with the remaining picks? I believe the three other positions Chicago should focus on in this draft should be wide receiver, edge rusher, and center. I don't know the exact depths of this draft outside of the 1st round, but I don't really believe Chicago should draft any other position other than wide receiver. There really aren't any 1st round options at center, but there are a bunch of options when it comes to a solid edge to put opposite of Montez Sweat, such as Jared Verse, sorry, I'm so white, and Dallas Turner. But I do believe Chicago can improve on that position later on in the draft, so we'll be focusing on drafting a receiver with the 9th pick. Of course, they could also trade the pick back or trade up for Marvin Harrison Jr., but I don't personally view that as likely, so I'm not going to really touch on it that much. One might argue that the Bears don't really need a wide receiver considering they already have DJ Moore and have just acquired Keenan Allen for essentially peanuts, but Keenan Allen will be 32 by the time the 2024 season begins, and while DJ Moore is only 27 and is in the prime of his career at this moment, he has gone on record and stated that he wants to end his career with the Bears in about 5 years. So that means Chicago, in theory, should probably start preparing a young receiver for potential stardom when those previously mentioned move on. The previously named Marvin Harrison Jr. is projected to be drafted by the Cardinals to play with former first overall pick Kyler Murray in another effort to pair the former Heisman winner with a potential beast wide receiver 1. The Chargers are projected to draft LSU receiver Malik Nabers after moving on from core receivers Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, giving Justin Herbert and new head coach Jim Harbaugh a chance to rebuild the offense from the ground up. That leaves a few options, but the most talked about option, and my personal preference for who Chicago should take, would be that of Washington receiver Rome Odunze. For the 2024 season anyways, Odunze would be the perfect wide receiver 3 for this Bears squad, with him leading the NCAA in receiving yards and tied 4th in touchdowns. He was a big part in Washington's run to the national championship game, where they would eventually fall to the Jim Harbaugh, J.J. McCarthy-led Michigan squad 34-13. I think Chicago drafting Odunze, if he's available at 9, makes the most sense out of any player in the draft outside of the top 10. Caleb would already have a great receiving core right out the gate, but this wouldn't even be about the present. This would be about the future. Like I said, DJ and Keenan Allen are closer to the end of their careers than the beginning, so having a guy ready when it's all said and done and you're not struggling to figure out what's next when those individuals eventually move on is probably for the best of the franchise. Let's fucking go! In conclusion, I always look forward to seasons and have high hopes for that season as well as the future. But I've never seen a team going forward like this Bears team that genuinely has me excited for serious potential at being a long-term success story. Of course, I've had well-documented moments of delusion when it comes to this team, with my most notable being that second-year Justin Fields would take newly signed Equanimeous St. Brown and Byron Pringle to an 11-6 record and the last wildcard spot in the NFC. In case you don't know how that season went, by the way, they finished with the worst record in the NFL and received the number 1 pick in the 2023 draft for their troubles. Traded only that pick to the Panthers and got back an insane haul, so you could say I was pretty spot on, right? If you're a Bears fan, it's incredibly difficult to not be crazy excited about the upcoming season. You have a quarterback that's being touted as generational, and the best prospects is Andrew Luck with the potential to be the bisexual Patrick Mahomes. The most stacked receiving core the Bears have had in a very long time, an improving offensive line, a very promising young defense with a potentially elite young secondary next season, as well as a potentially elite front 7 if they can finish shaping that up. It could be a very scary sight for years to come. The people calling for Ryan Poles' job to be on the line do not have the slightest idea of how to construct a roster in pro football outside of Madden franchise. He has taken a mediocre team in cap hell into having one of the best cap situations in all of football and making a team holding on to his past glories in 2019 become one of the youngest teams in the NFL with legit talent. If he approached a fan on the street and asked that fan to suck his toes on the spot, no Dan Schneider, that fan should gleefully oblige and ask which toe they should start with. But I digress. In my opinion, Chicago is in the best position it's been in decades, and it's very hard not to find any sort of upside or positivity with this roster, regardless of how the draft works out. If I time this video correctly, this video will be released the day of the 2024 NFL Draft, and I hopefully look forward to hearing all of your feedback regarding my thoughts before and or after the draft concludes. Anyways, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, be sure to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. That's it from me, but before I leave you all today, I would like to simply remind all of you that this all doesn't happen without the sacrifices made by one man, by him, the future GOAT, my glorious king, Justin Skyler Fields. May he rest in peace. He didn't die, he just has to play in inbred Pennsylvania. But yeah, that's it for me though. I will see you all whenever I see you guys next. Peace out.